Hello, friends, gamers, geeks, and nerds of all kind, and a few ladies if you happen to be listening out there. We appreciate all you do for us. I mean that sincerely. That sounded terrible. Let me restart. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Let me fill up your ears and your head. That sounded not much better. Anyway, I promise you the rest of this podcast is going to be amazing because it can only get better from here. That's my new strategy. Stumble over your words early. Ramble. Well, I ramble anyway. Okay, I'm completely caught off guard. Let me get back on track. Hello. I'm Gunner. I'm your host. It's Tuesday. It's YouTube Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the COD Championships. I watched a little bit of them this weekend. Major League Gaming TV aired them live. This is the big $1 million prize eSports event for the first-person shooter Call of Duty Ghost. Activision has been sponsoring this tournament, for 2-3 years now? I'm not sure. But look, it's held in Los Angeles. It'll be held this year, March 28th and 30th. Again, presented by Xbox, sponsored by Activision. And there's $1 million going to the winner. So this is something people can take seriously. The action was pretty good. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the broadcast because Major League Gaming.tv, they're the ones who presented it, and they did a really good job. That's what I'm going to talk about. But first, I need to get to some other issues, some more pressing, more important things to talk about. First up, my hair. If you're watching on YouTube, see, here's a reason to go over to the YouTube channel to look at the shoestring budget of a broadcast. But my hair, people, okay, I've worn it short for years, and I'm an older guy. I'm on the other side of 30, like closer to 40, and, I've got this strange widow's peak thing happening, receding hairline. It's been that way since my 20s, basically, so I can't really tell the difference, except now that I just know and I have this anxiety about that little strip of hair that's on top is going to start thinning out and it's going to be gone. I don't know what to do. If it thins out on top, do I just keep letting it grow there? Like this barren wasteland, the top of my head, and it's got a few hairs poking up, and I just leave those there? I've often wondered that with bald guys. Like, why have those few hairs that grow and then comb that? I'm not talking about a comb over. I'm talking about, we know you're bald. You know you're bald. You're not trying to hide it. But there's a few hairs up there, so you let them grow. Because the alternative, this is what I'm thinking about. I think it's time to start shaving my head. Do a little Shaquille O'Neal action, a little Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson preemptive strike on my hair. Michael Jordan made it popular. Maybe it's time. Maybe I start, to waxing the old noggin. I don't carry much hair. It's like I'm emotionally prepping myself for this anyway. That's why I don't want to grow out long hair. I don't want to have the long hair and then slowly have to realize, oh my God, it's thinning, or see those clumps of hair falling out in the shower. I don't want that, so I keep it really short anyway. I had to bring that up. Why? Because I've been thinking about it for about 2 or 3 days, and it's bothering me. I have to get it off my chest. I have to share that with the world. My hair dilemma. I'm about to go bald. I'm about to just start shaving it. My other issue is that I am wearing my Buccaneers jersey number 24 because Darrell Revis is about to get cut by the Bucs, about my Bucs. If you're not a football fan, just bear with me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a woeful NFL team right now. They won the Super Bowl in 2002. They made the playoffs every single year from 97 through 2002. And that's really been the only time in the history of the franchise since 1976 when they first established that they've been any good. Oh my goodness, but is it getting really bad that we can't even keep good players anymore? I mean, granted, you traded for him, and he costs a lot of money, I get it. He doesn't really fit the system. You fired the head coach and the GM that traded for him. Now you bring in Lovie Smith, the return to the Tampa 2 defense, I get it. But you're going to get rid of Darrell Revis? Because once you get rid of him, oh my gosh, if you're playing the Bucs, just throw the ball up in the air. You don't even have to find open receivers. You don't even have to design routes for your receivers to run. Just throw it up because there's nobody back there to defend. I mean, the two safeties we have aren't ever on the field because they keep getting penalties for, high hits and low hits and whatever else, and then they're always on the sideline or missing games, being suspended. So I'm wearing one because this is 24 and represents Darrell Revis' number, because this is not an actual Darrell Revis jersey. I knew better than to go out and buy a jersey as soon as he got to the Bucs. I knew it wouldn't last. This is a Cadillac Williams jersey. Because I was a huge Cadillac Williams fan. Who is he? Exactly. Who is that guy? Is he still in the league? Exactly. That's my point. And because the Bucs have redesigned their jerseys, and it's freaking horrendous now. Just Google the Buccaneers' new jerseys, uniforms. Breaks my heart. But look, what the hell does that have to do with video games and gaming culture and happy hour and drinking beer? Well, it has to do with drinking beer because I have to drink so much beer to forget about, one, losing my hair, the Bucs' new uniforms. Okay, but it has to do with sports. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a huge football fan. I played sports in high school. I played sports at the youth level ever since I was 5 years old. So I enjoy sports. I love sports. So in video games, we have eSports, right? Those COD championships, that's eSports. It's an eSporting event. Now, I was just recently watching television and a commercial came on for a sporting goods store. And it's a well-done commercial, but the sentiment was, this is the voiceover. You have the speaker, you have this voiceover playing, the sound playing underneath images, and a montage of people playing Little League, playing a pickup game of basketball. Maybe it's a father, daughter. Maybe it's a Little League baseball game. Several images like that. And then the voiceover says things like, there's no username and password. Right? There's no tokens. And they're trying to create that contrast between playing games, video games, or being online versus being in a sporting activity, being outdoors with other people. And so you kind of get that. You're like, yeah, you see it. You're thinking, I'm missing out on all this camaraderie and all these good times if I'm online and I'm not actually playing the sport. Now, granted, their purpose is to get you to go into a sporting goods store and buy, I don't know, $200 worth of gear that you will use maybe 2 or 3 weekends out of the year, and then will sit in your garage or your basement or your attic for the rest of your life. Until you're dead, and in your will, no one can figure out who gets all this crap. When did he decide he was going to play hockey at age 40? Who wants all of this stuff? But I digress. Again, the purpose of that commercial was to get you to go into the sporting goods store. So I pass on that. But the sentiment, it was still there and got me thinking. Why did I even assume while watching this commercial that a difference exists to begin with? I've talked about before, in esports, if you're playing video games, psychologists have already been studying it, and sports psychologists are most interested in the dynamics between teams and sports in video games. Whether you're actually playing FIFA, simulated, European football or American soccer, take your pick on the nomenclature there. But you can decide they are interested in whether it's a sport like FIFA that they're playing a video game of, or it's a first-person shooter like Call of Duty. They're interested in team dynamics, performance anxiety, and they are able to look at, I've talked about this before, they're able to draw and do studies on people playing video games because the skills that they want to teach to your conventional athletes, they can see being developed in these online athletes. And yeah, I just used the term online athlete. I know it sounds weird. But hey, if you're going to consider bowlers athletes, I mean, come on. But I just thought, why do we assume or we think, because even your most hardened esport fanatic would still understand there's a difference between playing football or high school basketball and playing Dota or League of Legends. Like, they understand there's a difference. And we think, so I'm working myself through this problem or this question, and I'm asking myself, why would I assume there's a difference? And then I thought, well, maybe it has to do with the physical activity, because that's usually how we always define sport. Sport is always defined by how much are you sweating? How much muscle do you have to build to perform this? How much hand-eye coordination does it require? And I understand that's good, and it's good to get the young kids out there and exercising and running around. But look, haven't we advanced as a collective humanity to the point where we do understand the importance of exercise, and we don't have to convince people to play a game to run from here to there? I mean, eat right. Don't have soda every single day. I don't care if you sign your kid up for football, basketball, little league, all the sports. If you're letting him come home and eat a box of moon pies and drink a 2-liter bottle of root beer, look, your kid's going to be overweight. He's not going to be healthy. He's developing eating habits. This is the habit part. He's developing habits that are going to ruin him in his adult life. Oh, man, I could go on and on. Because I was that kid. I was that guy that when I was younger, I would just eat and eat and eat. And I love to eat. And now that I'm older, I'm perpetually carrying around pudgy belly, right? It's just always going to be there. Because I'm not going to stop eating. It's not going to happen. You know, I'll run until my knees explode. And I'll just keep, lifting weights every now and then because I'm just trying to keep from not getting too fat. And there was a point, well, I won't get into that. Save that for another show. I got huge there for a little while. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, when you take a job and you're making good money where you can go out to eat nice restaurants all the time and take lunches and business lunches, whoo, man. My goodness. I probably spent more on suits that year than, I don't know, on anything else. Because I was just going through jacket and pant sizes. Like I'm flipping channels or something. Oh, it's channel 31. Now it's channel 32. And I'm 42. And I'm 56. And it's like, oh my God, there's a problem here. There's a problem. But yeah, so if the physical activity is important, that's great. Get the kids out there and exercising to lose weight. But is that really why that those sports are better? Because, like I said, you don't have to be online over an internet connection to be playing with somebody during a video game and still have that camaraderie in those moments. The father-daughter playing basketball in the front yard, what is that, like the modern Rockwell painting of what American society is like? We've replaced, mom putting the apple pie on the windowsill and Johnny's playing baseball too. Now it's dad playing basketball with his daughter. These are the acceptable American iconic images that we want to pass off in marketing and pop culture. All right, fine, because I guess it's just too nerdy to show father and son playing Halo together. Because really, that's what I've bonded with my daughter over, was playing Halo. I'm not that great at music. She's not that great at sports. We both love watching football and can understand it. But look, she was born in San Diego. She's a San Diego Chargers fan. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. There's really not, we don't watch the same games at the same time. But video games, playing Halo. So again, there's not a difference there. So getting back to the sports thing, why does eSports have to be second best to the other sports? And then it hit me. Then I was able to answer my question. It's not what goes into playing the sport or the team aspects. Is this physical? Are there real skills required? No. That's not the point. The point is it entertaining to watch? Because look, even going back to watching all those kids play sports, like I said, I love sports because I used to play them. And every sports fan will talk about that. Oh, I used to play whatever. I played Pee-wee, Little League, Junior Varsity. Yeah, I can tell you I played Junior Varsity basketball as well, and I was freaking terrible. I was terrible. I got to play the last 5 or less seconds of every game if we were up by 20 or down by 20. Then I could go in. And basically just stand there. Hey, look at me, everybody. I think one time I got into the game, there was maybe some time on the clock. This is my only memory of basketball, just running down the court, dribbling the basketball. There's no one around me, stopping to shoot, and missing the shot. But somebody fouled me, so I'm like, oh, then I still get to like make some points. No, I still missed them. I was terrible. But I have that memory, and here's what I'm getting at. Most of us are going to play a high school sport or be involved in it. That's good, that's great. We all have those memories. But the rest of our lives, we're not playing sports anymore. Now we're all fans and spectators. And we're sitting on our ass, drinking beer, just watching other people play. For the rest of our lives, talking about how we understand the game and we used to play it. Well, look, maybe you're not that sad. You're not constantly talking about how you used to play. But we might share that in common. Now, with video games, clearly everybody has experience playing video games. You'd be hard-pressed on the street to do a survey and find people who've never played a video game, mobile or otherwise. So everybody has a common background in that you understand video games. And look, when this Twitch TV thing started, and MLG TV and all the eSports, I have also ranted against the business model of charging people to watch other people play video games. But maybe I'm starting to see the light. There is no difference between watching the COD Championships and watching the Super Bowl, except for entertainment value. They've had a head start with conventional sports in America, broadcasting it and putting on a show. They've had a head start. They've been doing it longer. Esports, they just need to catch up. That's all. It's the same thing. This whole idea that, oh, you're just watching somebody else play video games, that's boring. I'd rather do it myself. It's like, well, you're watching March Madness. You're watching college kids play basketball. Why don't you go play basketball yourself? Oh, I do every weekend. Pickup game around the corner. Okay. All right. I'm sure you're awesome too. I'm sure you got skills and hops and all that good stuff. I'm sure you're amazing playing against the same 3, 14-year-olds every weekend around the corner. I'm sure you're awesome. No, look, maybe you do. But again, we have a pickup game of, I don't know, soccer or basketball or football, around your neighborhood, in your community. But it's not played for competition, necessarily. You're not keeping score, handing out trophies, all of that. It's just for fun, right? Relaxed rules. Maybe you make up your own rules. Some people play both teams because you got an odd number of people out there. I'm just starting to think that watching regular sports and watching video games is the same thing, except for the quality of the broadcast. And that brings me to the big point of watching the COD Championship this weekend. It was great. I love the action. I am not going to buy Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm done playing Call of Duty. But it was great. I liked watching it. I understood what was going on because I played the game. It was fast-paced and exciting. And MLG, Major League Gaming, they put on a great show because they've had some time to do this, and they have some money to invest in. And to invest in their broadcast, into their product. And it's great. Well done. Top-notch. You have some really good casters, broadcasters. I guess in the gaming world, we don't have time for the word broads. We just call them casters. They're in a hurry. You got people to snipe and headshots to record. So the casters, Chris Puckett, Ben Benson Bowe, Alex Golden Boy Mendez, Alan Brycey Bryce, and Scott Gandhi Lussier. Okay. This is where I think they could probably improve, and they might need to play catch-up with conventional sports. The likes of NBC broadcasting or CBS or Fox Sports. People have been at this business for a while. Chris Puckett, I recognize that name. I don't really recognize the rest, but I recognize that name after having watched MLG tournaments for a while. So he seems to be a staple of MLG. And he's pretty good at what he does. But he reminds me of like a Chris Berman type of person. Chris Berman was around ESPN, way back in the early days, in the early 80s, when they were getting started. I think there was nothing on that channel but tractor pulls and lawnmower races. I think they were covering horseshoe tournaments. Nobody was basically watching this cable channel. And they didn't have the rights to cover other, actual sporting events that people wanted to watch. But you had Chris Berman there. So he was in the early days, and he was good back then. He was one of their better broadcasters they had at that time. But now, if you watch Sunday, their NFL Countdown show, Chris Berman is terrible. He's terrible. I love Dan Patrick, formerly of ESPN, and he has the Dan Patrick show. I love when Dan Patrick does the quick impersonation of Chris Berman. It's the wah, wah, wah. You don't even have to say anything else. You just go wah. Because literally every time Chris Berman speaks on NFL Countdown, he's it is it's almost like a crusty clown kind of a talk. That was his thing back then. Now, Chris Puckett doesn't do that. But what I'm saying is Chris Berman has a job now because he's been around so long and he's put his time in. He's helped build ESPN. I think Chris Puckett has been the staple and the constant on the panel of casters for MLG tournaments for the history of MLG probably. I don't know going back that far. But he's decent at what he does. He's pretty good. I'm not saying I'm better than him. Or I don't know. I used to teach broadcasters. I've done broadcast announcing skills classes. I've worked on radio. I know what's supposed to be done and how to look at it. I'm not saying I could perform better. So don't take it as a private attack on this guy's ability. But here comes the boom. My God, is he way too over the top. And like I said, there's guys like Golden Boy, Mendez. He is great. He is amazing. There's another guy. It might be Brycey. I don't know. It sounds like he's Australian or from New Zealand or something. He is. Those two were teamed up. I think it was, I don't know, day 2. I don't know. I can't remember the details. Go find all this on YouTube. It's there. But they were, oh my God, they were amazing. Conversational, clear. They were able to roll you through the action, talk about what was going on, and then bring you back if there's a lull in the gameplay. That great thing that broadcasters and play-by-play people need to nail down, the ability to have those notes and research about the game when the action isn't so intense that you're still having to, where your mouth is trying to catch up with your eyes. And you're trying to catalog everything as it's happening. And then you get to those low points where you have to stop, switch gears, now go back to my notes and talk about something else we prepared, the team, the weapons, explaining the game types. Those guys did an amazing job. I would like to see more of them or more stuff like that. Puckett, he sounds over the top. It was literally reminding me of Saturday Night Live skits whenever they do broadcasts of older ESPN games. He's just way too big when he speaks. That's not an impersonation, but he speaks big like that. Oh my gosh, guys, we are headed into the match. It's just way too over the top. Too much enunciating. And it's round 1 of the U.S. Champs U.S. Finals. These are the best teams in the country meeting here today for a chance at $1 million in the Activision COD Championships here on Major League Gaming Television. Gandhi, your thoughts? It just sounds like a skit. This can't be real. He doesn't really speak like this. It's not that over the top. I'm just exaggerating way too much. But it's when you listen to him, be honest. Tell me I'm wrong. Honestly, tell me I'm wrong. Is he not over the top or what? And then Gandhi, it's like Gandhi's trying too hard. And I know Gandhi knows his stuff, but man, he's just trying way too hard. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to do everything. And it's like, dude, just do what you do best. I would say the same thing for Puckett. You guys have things that you do extremely well. Just do more of that. Give us more of the good stuff. You don't have to be everything. Like Puckett, you don't have to be the best broadcaster there ever was. I think it's little things like that for entertainment's sake, esports isn't on the same level as their counterparts, and clearly it's not a fair contest because they don't have the same money. They don't have the same budget. They don't create Major League Gaming isn't receiving the same kind of revenue to invest in a stable of broadcasters and have the stable of internships. People coming out of college, out of Northwestern journalism school, they're not really interested in going to work for Major League Gaming first. They might try a more traditional route at a major network. Clearly, you're going to get paid more money, and that's usually where the talent goes, right? You attract talent with money. But they have stuff there that's great. I would love to hear more of Golden Boy. And that's what I was thinking when I talked about how they can't just do the play-by-play, because really the play-by-play in a COD championship, there's not that much to it. Oh, this guy's coming around the corner, and that guy's coming around the corner. This guy has a gun, that guy has a gun. Oh my god, it's a 1v1. Oh my god, this guy shot first. Now the other guy's dead. Now they're one down. Like, you don't have to tell us all of that. But at certain times they were talking about the matches and giving us some more information regarding the maps and a little bit of the strategy and analysis. And I thought they should have more of that. That's what actual conventional sports have. They have a lot of that analysis. The analysis isn't for the hardcore fan either. It's for the casual viewer. Because look, the product doesn't have to be that great to attract your hardcore fans. They're going to find this entertainment and this media anywhere. I mean, anywhere that it's actually broadcast. So look, you're not trying to impress them. They're going to be there anyway. It's like I'm going to be watching YouTube videos now, even if it's not popular, just because I got addicted to this whole new media thing. The whole world's going to move on to the next technology. I'm still trying to get used to this. And I tell you, I haven't even listened to darn new music since the needle on my record player broke. God, I gotta find me a dang record player repair shop. You know how hard it is to find one of them? Or VCR repair? God darn. I can't figure out how to get the gameplay on my Xbox onto the television because I don't know where to put the VCR tape in the Xbox. How do these other kids do it? How do they make these Let's Play videos? I don't get it. I have no idea why, if you want to make an ignorant, uninformed person, you just put a Southern accent on. I'm from the South. I have no idea why that... Like, does that... Why? Why? It's like you can't do an uppity, I don't know, a blue-blooded accent and... That was a terrible accent. No, I'm from the South. That's the only reason I can kind of do a Southern accent. I guess this is my uppity accent. I'm trying not to be associated with my roots, with my background. Nah, don't want to do that. All right, so... yeah, I think that you have to attract the casual viewers. The casual person that's interested in esports, if you want to grow the sport, you want to get more eyeballs, more advertising dollars, and more money will eventually go to the online athletes, the esport athlete, eventually once more money comes in. I think that would be everybody's goal. And you know what? Look, I'm throwing my hat in. I'm on board also. I'm behind this, okay? I'm not going to bring all the criticism and hate anymore. I want it to succeed. I see value in it now. But to improve the broadcast and the quality of the product to attract casual people, you have to do a little bit of explaining and analysis breakdown so that the uninformed can catch up and they can follow along. And I think they do that on the MLG broadcast. At times, I could hear that and see that from all the broadcasters. I would just like to see or hear more of that. Because like I said, telling me what gun they're using doesn't really do me any good if I don't understand the difference between a sniper and an assault rifle. Okay, I understand the names are different, but why? I don't understand. And lastly, why can't we have more feature and personality stories about the players themselves? Like, look, Major League Gaming, you've got camera equipment, you've got journalists on staff, you got broadcasters and editors. Sit down, set up your 3-point lighting, do a feature personality interview where you're sitting down with Ogre 2, a final boss. The guy's been gaming since, I don't know, since I was born. No, he's not that old. But, he's been around a long time playing Halo and Final Boss. That team, that name, that franchise as a team has been around a long time. Maybe I missed that interview and that story, that package, that news package or sports personality package, but I can't find it. Maybe someone should send me a link so I can find it on YouTube, because that's what I spent the past couple of days doing, trying to search YouTube for these types of videos, some breakdown and analysis from MLG. Not, some kid out there who's got the right idea and sees the future. No, I want to see this coming officially from Major League Gaming, one of the top YouTubers out there. Like, if you're into esports and competition and first-person shooters, and you support these teams, Strictly Business, Complexity, the FaZe and Optic, why don't we have stories about them? Where did they come from? How did they form their team? The who, what, why, when, where. All of that. Answer those questions for us. Let us get to know, as viewers, as fans, let us get to know these people. Let us decide if we want to invest in them. Invest emotionally. Let us decide if we care about these people. Do I even care that Strictly Business wins? If I don't know their names and faces, the actual players, I don't really care. Because when the game is taking place, it's worse than the National Football League. In football, they hide behind, they have those helmets and visors, and they're all padded up. Most of the time, you don't know their faces. If you bumped into them on the street, you wouldn't know them. Unless they're the big stars or the quarterback, and then you know their faces. But in esports, you wouldn't know them. Because when you're watching them play, you're just watching the gameplay anyway. You're watching the video game. You don't even get to see their face. So come on, MLG. Come on, esports. Come on, new media. Come on, other blogs that cover this and YouTubers. We should get to know them. And I want to. So I'm going to start reaching out, and I'm going to try and book an interview for a podcast with anybody that's competed in the COD Championships. I'll just go down the list. And maybe I'm going to keep track and see who turns me down. No, I won't do that. I will be grateful when I get an interview with somebody. I will thank them and support them, and I will be their number one fan. And then I'll be wearing their jersey. How about that? That's what I'll do. Because I certainly can't get excited for my Bucks. I would rather spend the money and buy jerseys for my favorite esports player right now than follow the Bucks. That's how bad it's getting. And I'm starting to think it's the same thing. I'm going to spend money and time watching this other sport that I don't play anymore and can't play on that level. Might as well just be watching something I actually understand and actually do on a regular basis. And that's play video games. So I'm going to be an esports fan all the way. After March Madness. That's what I'm going to do it. All right, that's the show for today. Thanks again for listening. Leave a comment, subscribe, share, tweet. And don't be afraid to have this conversation. I mean, why not? Why not give us more for esports? And I'm talking to the people who broadcast and put on the tournaments and put on the streaming videos and make it possible for millions and millions of people to watch really good tournament play. Why not give us more? We want more, not less. Thanks again. I am Gunner, and this was the Gamers on Tap podcast.